Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another exciting interview for the Grue Rume Show. And my interview tonight is going back to my horror roots, as I am talking to someone who is portraying Freddy Krueger so good. I mean, Robert Englund would actually be proud of him on how good that he is playing the role of Freddy. His name is Ro Roberto Lombardi. And I'm really looking forward to talking to him, looking forward to asking him about the Freddy Krueger horror shorts that he's been doing. And it's going to be fun for all the horror fans that support Grue Monkey website and the Grue Room. I am Rocco Cross. I am the host at Stutters, and I am the host of the Grue Room. And my interview with Freddy Krueger, Roberto, is coming up next. All right, welcome to Grue, and thank you so much for taking time out of your night and being a guest on the Grue Room.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
Oh yeah, of course. I've been looking forward to this one because I'm a huge horror fan, as you know, as I was telling you, and yeah, this is gonna be fun. I'm looking forward to it.
Cool. I'm very interested in what you're going to ask me.
So, like, the first thing I wanted to say, we were talking a little bit before we came on this. You I live in Philadelphia, and you said you actually lived in Philly too. So
The
how was your
area, yeah.
time living in Philly?
Yeah, well, I've lived almost my whole life in the Philadelphia tri-state area, and I'm in New Jersey right now. But yeah, like we were just saying, we're like very close. Where you live now is very close to where I lived growing up. So
Yeah,
yeah.
I know, that's weird. That's nuts.
Hey, the Philly guys got to stick together, man. Okay.
Right, right, exactly. And being, I mean, with 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 your name, and my Cross isn't really my last name, but we're both Italian guys that living in Philly, right?
That's not stereotypical at all, right?
And so I have to ask this. I mean, even though the people that live in Philly are like, Pats and Genos, it's whatever. But do you ever do your Pat and Gino late night runs?
Of course, yeah. I grew up with the owner of Pat's.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And but I've been to all of them. I mean, depending on where you can't live in this area and not have at least once, made that run out to, grab something to eat at one of those places. You just can't. So.
Yeah, no, that's true. Me, for cheesesteaks, I'm more of a fan of either Tony Luke's or Phil Philip steaks.
Yep.
I like
At
them
all of
too a
them.
lot.
Yeah. Yeah. The other
And
thing I've noticed, from this area, it's getting to be a little more mainstream and outside of the area. But for a long time there, if you said hoagie outside of the tri-state area, nobody knew what the hell you were talking
no,
about.
I know.
So, because I actually lived in Detroit for a while, and I would walk into a sandwich shop and say, "Can I have a turkey hoagie or something like that?" They'd be like, "I'm like turkey sub."
I mean, is Philly the only place that doesn't call it a sub?
Well, yeah, I think that because it originated, I think the hoagie thing originated here, but
Yeah,
now like there's Wawa in Florida. So like if you go into a Wawa in Florida, you can get a hoagie
yeah,
there,
that's
but it's
true.
not exactly the same as it is here. The bread's different.
No, yeah, definitely. Um, what's it? Ricci Brothers. You haven't been there for like the Hoagies?
Now that one I don't know.
Okay,
I
they're
don't know
actually
that one.
really good.
Okay, awesome. Gave me something new to check out. So
Right, right, exactly. I I was looking you up online. I saw you actually did songs and you were in bands. Uh,
oh yeah.
So being an actor isn't your only thing.
No, I started out acting when I was a kid.
Hmm.
Um, Back in the day, there was this kids show called the Gene London Show, and my parents got some kind of tickets for me to like go to the show and be on the show with my cousin. So I was on like a few episodes of that, and that kind of like lit the acting bug for me.
Nice.
But then later on, I kind of got into Kiss and Aerosmith and Led Zeppelin and that type of thing, and then the music thing kicked in, and I was in bands for like a really long time. Went on
Wow.
tours, recorded albums.
Oh wow.
Most of which I own the rights to. So I've been releasing the albums. Like I'd find different companies who release like 80s bands and 90s bands, and I go ahead and do it through that. But yeah, I didn't really start acting again. I kind of stopped. I started acting again in around 2006.
Okay.
Um, kind of got back into it again. Started modeling first, which I hated. Look, it doesn't matter how fit, thin, whatever, your photographer's going to yell at you to suck in your gut and whatever. And I was just like, I hate this. But it was like a means to an end to get back into, some kind of representation to put me into like entertainment again. And it worked. So
Oh, hey, well that's good. At least it was like uh step stepping stone to where you needed to be, right?
yeah, definitely. Well, life's full of that. So
Nice.
yeah.
Now, do you still play in bands and do music and all that yet, or
I
is it just acting now?
It's just acting. I haven't
Okay.
played in a band. The last band I was in, I left it in 2007. And I still play occasionally. I would have to like re-practice myself up again to actually be in a band again.
Okay.
But there's two guys that I was in bands with or was on the same club circuit with that contacted me. I posted a picture of me playing my bass,
Hmm.
and both of them, like within minutes, were just like, we got to start a band again. And I'm like, oh, I don't know if I want to do that again, but we'll see.
Okay. So, what was your very first role you ever did for acting?
Ugh. Like a feature film or a
Yeah.
commercial or a short or what?
Say a main film, a
A
feature
feature length
film. Yeah.
film. The first feature length film I got cast in was a comedy um, called Bazookas the Movie. It
Nice.
was about a bunch of people who worked in a gym and they were trying to save it from being closed. So they came up with all these sexy kind of things to do in the gym to draw business. And I played the um, surly, arrogant janitor of the gym. It was a lot of fun.
Nice.
It was really fun. Yeah.
And one of the roles I saw you were on set for, it's crazy because I actually was on set for this and also was one of the Fire Nation guys in The Last
Oh,
Airbender.
really?
Yes.
Oh, then we were probably on set together and didn't even know it.
I know, right? Exactly.
Yeah. That
I
was
mean,
not an, I don't know how you felt about it, but I didn't, that was not an easy shoot.
it wasn't, no.
It was not, I mean, that was the second time I worked with Knight. And the first time I worked with him, it was a breeze. It was a lot of fun.
Mhm.
Literally the breeze. It was the happening. But Last Airbender, as cool as those sets were, and they were some cool
They were
sets.
really nice to set, yeah.
Um, it was just not fun. I mean, did you get at the end of that? Did you get that? Have them like label all your wardrobe because there's supposed to be two other sequels to that,
Yes,
and
exactly.
it just did because it didn't do well. It didn't happen. But yeah, they're just like, make sure you maintain your weight and give us your
Mm.
name and your information because you're going to be wearing this costume in the next two movies. And I'm like, great, steady work. Didn't happen.
Oh, I know. I I like the one set that they did where it, they you had to pretend you were on a boat with a big
But I was on that.
tidal wave hitting you. Yeah,
Yeah. So you were on there.
yeah.
Okay, so we were both within feet of each other and didn't know.
I
That's
mean,
weird because I talked to everybody on set in between takes. So
okay.
that's why I don't know why. Maybe I just kind of said hi or something. I don't know.
Yeah,
I looked a
true.
lot different back then.
Okay.
No beard, dark hair.
Oh wow. All right.
Yeah.
Oh, that's crazy. Like we were both on set for that because the only like main films I was ever on set for was The Last Airbender as a Fire Nation guy and Creed 1 and 2.
Oh, those were good
Uh,
movies.
yeah, so they were like
Creed movies
the
were
only
good.
like main things I was ever in, and it wasn't nothing big. It was just like standing in the background or something. So
Yeah. Yeah.
so one of the roles I seen you were in a television series, I think it was called Blunders.
Oh, yeah, that was that was a pilot I did. It didn't go anywhere.
Oh,
We did one, yeah, we only did the pilot and it was shopped and it didn't get picked up. And I think you can see it like the pilot is available on Amazon now, I think. But yeah, I mean, it was supposed to be a series and it was supposed to be a spoof of ghost hunters and all the paranormal shows. It was a
okay.
comedy. It wasn't scary at all. It was cheesy to the point of being ridiculous, but on purpose.
Nice, nice. There's so many of those shows now, though, like
Yeah.
Ghost Hunters and getting these actors to come on to play the real people. And uh,
Yep.
I mean, I do believe in the paranormal and there are things that are out there and spirits and all that, but it's hard to believe all these people have that experience.
Well, I agree with you on both counts. I agree with you
Yeah.
about the paranormal. I didn't appear in it, but I was the assistant director of a ghost hunting show and that, of course, didn't get picked up either. That did like 4 episodes. And I had enough paranormal experience doing that show where I was just like, I don't want to do this anymore.
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
Oh yeah, whispering in your ear and like being pushed from behind when there's nobody behind you,
Are
and
you
yeah,
really? Wow.
yeah, yep.
Oh, wow, that is so cool. Well, I mean, not for you being
It's cool to hear. It wasn't cool to go through it. I was just like, I'm getting the hell out of here right now.
Oh, wow. Okay, so you actually experienced that then, like actual real
Yeah.
paranormal stuff.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah, I never really experienced nothing like that. Like, I think only once I was working at the Eastern State Penitentiary, terror
Oh.
behind the walls.
If you're gonna have a paranormal experience, it's gonna be there.
Yeah, that was like the only paranormal experience I had. It was funny because I Terror Behind the Walls is that scary haunted house that they do every year, and
Yeah.
I was one of the guys in it. The guys that jump out at you. So I had to hide behind the wall, and they had this little television so you would see when the people come in. And my manager stood right out out outside the room because she's the one that had to let everybody in. So I saw this person walking all by themselves, and I'm like, that usually don't happen. So I jumped out and did my thing and made the lights go on. And my manager ran and she said, "What are you doing? I'm about to let a whole group in and you're jumping out." I said, "No, there was a person." I said, "You just let in the person." I said, "What are they special? Are they like a main star in a TV series or something that you let them in by themselves?" She's like, "Nobody came in." I was like, "What?"
They're on the screen. Yeah. Yeah. I
Yeah.
think you
So,
might have seen something. Yeah.
yeah, that was my experience with the paranormal world.
That would have been enough for me. I make horror movies, but I'm like, nah, keep that, keep it away from me. I'm good.
Like how how did you wind up getting picked to play the role of Freddy?
Okay, that's a very easy story. I didn't have to audition. The director of that series and I had been working together for quite a while by that point. He had cast me in his first feature film called Methodic,
Nice.
and that was in 2007. So in 2011, when he was getting ready to shoot the first short film for Krueger, um, we were coming back from New York and I don't remember why we were there, but we were coming back on the train. And he said, "Look, I'm going to do a prequel series, one for Michael, one for Jason, and one for Freddy. Do you want to be Freddy in the Freddy one?" And I was like, I'm a huge Nightmare on Elm Street fan.
Yeah.
I was like, absolutely, of course I'll do it. And went ahead and did it. And I thought it was going to be a one-off. I think we all thought it was just going to be
Mhm.
one maybe 5-10 minute little short. And we'd be finished with it and I'd move on to something else and he'd move on to something else. And the response to it was, I figured it was going to be at least 50-50 that people were going to be like hating it.
Yeah,
Like you would
exactly.
get some people that were like, "That's pretty cool," or "You did a really good job," but then there's going to be the other half of the people who are like, "How dare you do this?" Like, I hate it because you even tried to do it. And it really wasn't like that. It was like, I would say a good 90 something percent of the people that responded to it were like, "I love this. Like, you
Mhm.
guys got to do more. It was great." And that's kind of what started us doing more of it. And
Oh,
it just kind of ballooned from there. And we wound up making the series over, God, 8 years.
oh, wow.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't like steady. It was like we'd do one, and then like the following year and a half later, we'd do another one. Then another year, we'd do another one. But
Yeah.
it was over the course of 8 years that those were done,
Wow, that's
and
amazing.
they're expensive.
Well,
Well, they're fan films, and you can't make money from fan films.
yeah,
So
exactly.
you basically funded it yourself. Um, Everybody flew out to the different locations on their own dime.
Mhm.
A lot of the costuming was either donated or we just bought ourselves. But yeah, and you can't sell it.
Well,
It was
yeah.
put on YouTube, and that's that. So you couldn't do anything with it. But it was like a passion project. It was like but people wanted more, so we just kept making more.
Oh, wow, that's so
Yeah.
awesome. I love that. At the as you were talking about, like, the first of many of the Nightmare on Elm Street horror shorts that you were doing is called A Tale from the Elm Street,
Yep.
and, you know, I have to ask, like, being a fan of the films and the Freddy, how did it feel for the first time putting on the glove and transforming yourself into Freddy?
Um, Half really excited and like I'm getting to do something that I've always wanted to do, because when I saw the movie in theaters when it came out, I looked at that and I'm like, here's a horror slasher that talks. Here's a
Yeah,
guy who like terrorizes you by talking to you before
yeah.
he kills you. And I was like, and I thought to myself then, I would really love to play a character like this.
Oh,
So excited. But then the other half of it is, like I said, I was afraid that people were, Elm Street fans are very, very passionate. Let's
they
put it that way.
are. They
very
are, yeah.
passionate. And so the other half of me was thinking, you're going to get crucified for doing this. But it was exciting putting it on. I did a lot of research on the character type. Not so much. I didn't watch too much of the movies. I kind of watched parts of the first movie, parts
Mhm.
of the second movie, and a little bit of the third, and then a little bit of Freddy's Dead for just background on it.
Well, yeah, of course.
But mostly I looked up Freddy's. Freddy's not. I don't think he's a pedophile. I think that he just enjoys killing children, and
Mhm.
he's a sociopath, and he is a masochist. He'll cut himself,
Yeah.
and he wants to inflict pain. So I
Yeah.
kind of researched little bits of those personalities and put that into it. There's like things that I did in the first film, like I would wring my hands a lot when I was being interrogated. That was something that I learned from just doing research on it, and
Oh,
and
wow.
being confrontational and then pulling it back. That's another thing. But doing it was fun. Putting the glove on for the first time was just it was weird because I'm left-handed and the glove fits your right hand, first of all, but so it was
Oh.
odd. But just getting the motion together of being able to do what you need to do with it, it was just wild. And in the first movie, I only have the glove on for like, I don't know, maybe a minute, and then the whole rest of the time I'm handcuffed in
Yeah.
the interrogation room. So it was weird. By the second film, we got people who wanted to sponsor us, so I had my own glove made for me. It was the Krueger Tales from Elm Street glove. It
Oh,
wasn't a
wow.
replica of what Robert wore. It wasn't a replica of what Jackie wore. It was
Yeah.
my own glove.
Wow. That's
Yeah,
amazing. So
yeah.
you got your very own Freddy glove.
My model of glove. Yes.
Wow.
Thank you, Shay Fogg, because he created it, made it, and sent it to us, and did it for free, which was nice.
Wow, that's amazing. Nice. Nice. And like one of the shorts in the series, you were you were talking about is Freddy and Michael and Jason, Leatherface, all
Yep.
in one movie. The Nightmare Ends on Halloween, and
Right.
I mean, again, like being a horror fan, and you're Freddy again. Like,
Yeah.
how does it feel? Like you're involved in the battle that every horror fan dreams of: Freddy versus Jason versus Leatherface. I mean,
Versus Pinhead.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Versus
Um,
Pinhead.
the movie that I did was actually The Nightmare Ends on Halloween Part 2. There
Hmm.
was a Part 1, but I didn't play Freddy in it. None of the actors from the first movie came back for the second one.
Okay.
It was completely recast. That's actually where I wore makeup for the first time. I wore it was makeup of sorts. That film, they got it wasn't it was a mask. It was
Hmm.
like and it was a latex mask, and
Yeah.
the eyes were cut out, the mouth was cut out, and everything. And we just did latex makeup around my eyes and around my mouth, so I could make, you could see my eyes and my mouth. I could make facial expressions and act.
Nice. Nice.
Um, so that was okay. That was not comfortable because it's very hot, very warm. So especially there's a part of that movie where I'm in the rain fighting. I believe it's Jason,
Yeah. Yeah.
um, and the rain was going in the back of the mask,
Oh
going down. It
no.
was in the nose, and I was sweating on top of it. So there was like rainwater and sweat in the nose, and it was like choking me at one point. And when I took the mask off at the end, I pulled it up, and there was like, I don't know, a pint of water fell out of the mask. It was like it was drooping down my face and everything. But
Oh
you
my
can see it in
God.
part of it just from the sweat and everything during the Leatherface fight. It started to like come down like this, and it just looked really weird. So that was the last time we used it. The
Okay.
rest from then on out, anytime I was in makeup, we did like a whole head of makeup for me.
Nice.
No more
Nice.
masks.
And I was looking on the IMDb and everything. It seems like you did back to back shorts, walk through Elm Street and the slasher from Elm Street. Looks like it was made within like the same year. So
Yeah,
can you tell us a little bit about the both of those shorts and if it was
sure.
filmed?
They were meant to be a part one and part two.
Okay.
When we finished Walk Through Elm Street, it kind of felt unfinished. So we went further with it and
Hmm.
kind of continued the story with the little boy, Mikey.
Yeah. Yeah.
Filming it, we actually filmed it over between Thanksgiving and Christmas. I think it was 2013, between Thanksgiving and Christmas of 2013.
Okay.
And we filmed all the stuff in front of the Elm Street house. The people who owned the house at the time were very nice to let us film there. So we actually have the real house in it. We
Nice.
filmed that. We did a bunch of shots of me walking around the neighborhood, like in front of across the street where Glenn's house was, which it is
Yeah.
across the street. And then the rest of the shots of me walking around were filmed there too, but they weren't filmed in LA. They were filmed in Pasadena. They're actually filmed in the same neighborhood that Halloween was filmed in.
Really?
So yeah, we went from LA to Pasadena and did all those outdoor shots. And then when we went back and we looked at the dailies for it, it got edited together what we shot, and the director sent it to me, and I immediately wrote back and I said, we can't release this, it's terrible. And he agreed with me. It was terrible. I was like, we can't. I said, some of this is savable,
Okay.
we can use some of it. I said, why don't we do something different with it? We've done something different with the first two.
Hmm.
We should make each one of these shorts have something different in it. So that's where the director came up with the idea to get like a glimpse inside Freddy's mind.
Nice. Nice.
And I went back after Christmas for another week and we like filmed the rest of it. So you got all this stuff with him in the mirror going like this.
Yeah. Yeah.
And and all the stuff with Mikey was filmed then.
Okay.
And it kind of just went from there. And it came out and people really seemed to like that. So we went back and did the part two, got the guy who played Mikey to come back again, everything. And it just really came out really well. We got Mikey's family in there, and
Nice.
we got to work with the same actors would come back later on in the series. So, and we kind of had a central location. All the Elm Street films kind of have a central location. The original ones had the house.
Yeah.
And we kind of had that park where Mikey gets abducted, which is in
Gotcha.
Long Beach, by the way. It's in Long Beach.
Oh, really?
Like a casting club, yeah, in Long Beach.
Oh,
So
wow.
that kind of became our go-to. We used it in 3 different films. Out of the 6, it's in 3. So
Damn.
it was good, and we were happy with the way it came out with Mikey's family being upset and me consoling them. But in the flip side of that, and I have my own daughter with me, and the flip side of that being I'm out killing the kids, including the kid that's missing that I'm consoling the family for. So it was good. We were happy with the 2 of them when they came out. We felt that as the movies went along, they got better and better as we did them. So, and we also got less away from the original first film. I'm almost cosplaying. There's parts of it in there. Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm look like Robert. My hair is dyed a different color. I'm trying to like act more like Robert. I'm trying to like use Robert's voice more. It was supposed to be an homage leading into the first movie. And then when we figured out we were going to do more, I said, it's not going to work if I just continue to like copy somebody and put like little bits of myself in there. So starting with the second movie, my own hair color, my own way of doing things, little bits of Robert in there, what Robert did in there, because it had to be familiar to an audience, because 99% of the films have Freddy in makeup.
Yeah.
And you had to recognize him. You had to recognize the character. So that's why I did little bits that would make the character recognizable to the audience. And we carried it through on to the end that way, where like more and more and more, I started doing it the way I would do it and less like how Robert would do it.
Okay. That you definitely have to make it your own, because then there'll be everyone would think you're trying to copy him.
Right. And people thought that anyway. And rightfully, with the first movie, rightfully so, because I was doing things intentionally to, you know, copy what Robert was doing.
Mhm.
But really, starting from the second movie on, I gave up on that, and I just kind of did my own thing from then on out. But the other problem is I resemble Robert.
Yeah,
So
you actually do. Yeah.
I do. I
Yeah.
mean, back then I didn't have a beard and I had darker hair through most
Mhm.
of the series, but I still resembled Robert.
Yeah.
And then, like towards the end of the series, I don't know if you've met Robert or seen him lately, but Robert's got gray hair and a
He
gray
does,
beard.
yeah.
And I actually have a picture of Robert and I together. And like, I got the picture back and I'm looking at it. I'm going, oh God, I do look like him.
Right.
He was very gracious, by the way. He was very nice. When I walked up to meet him, he said, "I know who you are," and I
Wait,
went,
really?
"Yeah, you know,
Robert Englund knew
he knew who I was."
you
Yeah,
as
I don't think
Freddy.
he knew my name, but he knew who I was.
I mean, he knows of you playing Freddy.
Yeah, yeah, because fans
Wow.
had been. I mean, it kind of blew up for him too because he started getting asked in interviews what he thought of, or what he thought of me as in the role.
Oh,
And
okay.
so, and I kind of felt bad in a way because he's there trying to, like, I don't know, do an interview for Fear Clinic or one of his films, and they're like, "So, what do you think of that fan series and that guy who plays Freddy in the fan series?" And he'd be like, "It's good," or whatever he would say, and I'm like, "Wow, they're asking him that a little too much," but I appreciate
There
it.
you go. There you go. Hey, if it wasn't for those questions, then Robert probably would have never found out about the series and saw you playing Freddy.
It's 50-50 because a couple of fans actually gave him uh, DVDs of the movie. They bounced the DVD off of YouTube, made a DVD from YouTube, and handed it to him. The one in particular, I was there. She handed Robert's wife Nancy. She handed him the movie and said, "Here, watch this."
Oh
And
my
I know they
god.
did. So
Oh my god. I mean, how cool is it that Robert's wife is Nancy?
she's really nice too. She's not a pushover either, just like Nancy Thompson.
Yeah, exactly. Um, new tale, the demon from Elm Street is actually based off of Wes Craven's new Nightmare.
Yeah,
And for some reason, like, I actually like the movie, but it's like the least favorite of the series from a lot of horror fans.
definitely
And
true.
what are your thoughts on Wes Craven's Nightmare?
Wes's movie, I think, is amazing. I don't know why it wasn't massively popular when it came
Yeah,
out. It took Freddy from the one-lining comedy act he had become. Sorry, fans of Freddy's Dead, but it's as while there's parts of it that I like, it's
yeah,
definitely my least favorite. And I hate to say that because the director is very sweet, but New Nightmare made Freddy kind of like dark and creepy and ominous again, and the makeup was pretty frightening, especially when it morphed into that devil makeup at the end.
yes, I know.
And of course, Nancy's back. Nancy and Donald Thompson, and and the whole way they get sucked back into it again, and everything, and it was just really, really well done.
Yeah,
I thought it would have been huge when it came out, but it wasn't. And it's the same for our movie. Our movie, New Tale, we kind of knew that we were going to end the series by doing our own meta version of the Krueger
hmm,
series. And that was always the plan. And I read the script and I really liked it. And we got Deandra Laser to come in and play Nancy Thompson herself and Nancy. And I've been wanting to work with her for the longest time, acting.
yeah,
And uh, she came in. We had a very easy shoot. It was not. I thought it was going to be much harder than it was to act with myself. But of course, I used a body double,
yeah, exactly.
and it came. I was happy with the end of it, but if I'm being honest, and there's no reason not to be honest because you can look up the stats on the film, it was definitely like the least watched
Hmm.
film in the series. happily, it was intended to be the last one, but I thought it would have done a little bit better than it had,
Yeah.
because the few before that, like the last three before that, had built a lot and
Yeah.
gotten, hundreds of thousands of views. And the second movie has almost 2 million views.
Wow.
But this one hasn't even, as far as I know, I haven't looked in a long time. The last time I looked, it hadn't even broken 100,000 views.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So basically, it was like Wes Craven's New Nightmare.
It kind of followed suit. Yes. Yes.
Now, out of all the shorts you did for Elm Street for Freddy, what Freddy scene did you love doing the most?
I really, it's hard to nail it down to just one.
Okay.
Probably going to mention a couple.
All right. Okay.
The first movie, I love the interrogation scene. I'm really happy with the interrogation scene. I just love how nasty and taunting
Mhm.
Freddy was towards Don Thompson. Working with all of the kids in the films was really good. They were all very, very good actors.
Okay.
And I get asked this a lot, and before anybody else asks and says, "Oh, I can't believe you had kids on the set," their parents were there. Okay, everybody's. I've had people say to me, "Where were the parents when you were doing that to that little boy?" And I'm like, both of his parents were standing right behind the camera watching the whole thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
We even did a video to show that the parents were there.
Yeah. Exactly.
So
Exactly.
working with the kids was great. Putting the makeup on for the first time in part 5 was great for me. That
Okay.
was like full circle for me. Really, the whole thing was great. It was a great, really wonderful experience. It was filmed in a lot of different locations,
Hmm.
famous locations. The Elm Street house. We used the original police station from the first film in our
Nice.
5th film. And the people who it's actually a library. It's not a police station.
Get
And
out, really?
the people at the library were like, "Oh, you want here?" Yeah. In fact, when you're done filming, see us. We'll have you screen the series here, and they did. We after the movie came out, they set up a screening for the whole series.
Oh,
Very nice people, but it was, not just L.A. and California. It was filmed in New Jersey and New York and Philadelphia, and then parts of the West Coast.
oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. All of the boiler room scenes that you see in the series are in Philadelphia.
Damn.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
You know, of course, the boiler room scenes aren't in Philly because Philly's known for like crime now.
Kind of. Kind of.
And I don't know if I mean, can you say anything at all about Dreams Kill yet, or is that like a hush hush?
It is hush hush. It's the only thing I can really say about Dreams Kill. I can tell you things that have already been released.
Okay.
So if you go on IMDb, the movie is listed on IMDb, like
Hmm.
the currently attached cast and the people behind the scenes, they're all there. And then there's some artwork that the producers put up. What I can definitely confirm is that I have been cast as Freddy Krueger in the film. And that's all I have right now.
Okay.
I would love to give you juicy tidbits
I
of
know.
information about what's happening with it,
I
but I would rather just tease you with it.
okay. Here you go.
Because I'm not
And
going to say anything.
like, how do you prepare and get into like a mind frame when you have to portray such a iconic horror character as Freddy Krueger?
And in the beginning, it was something that I really did have to prepare for. I had to kind of like sit by myself and get into that mindset. I don't really have to do that anymore.
Yeah.
Because I'm used to playing him now. I've been playing him off and on now, and with being cast in Dreams Kill, it's going to be, what are we in, 2022? It's
Mm-hmm.
now going to be 11 years off and on that I've been playing Freddy Krueger.
Wow.
And it's probably going to be longer than that, because we still have to film the movie and when it gets released and all that stuff. But yeah, so I can get into the mindset very easily. I have my own way of working into it. I have my
Mhm.
own thought process, how I think Freddy is, how he should be, how he thinks.
Yeah.
Um, and if I do it, for me, there weren't a lot of wisecracks in the films that I did.
Yeah,
A
exactly.
little bit of sarcasm, but not out and out jokes. And I just don't do it that way. So getting into the mindset is you basically just have to tap into your sarcastic side, and you have to tap into your, everybody has a bit of good and a bit of evil, and there's somewhere in between that. And so I just have to tap into my nasty side for that.
Okay.
I have a nasty side. I'm a real nice guy, but I'm Italian and I'm from Philly. I have a nasty side.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know. I mean, I can't say anything about that because I'm Italian from Philly
Yeah.
too, so I definitely know what you're talking about.
You know what I mean.
You, I saw you own your own production company. Is it RTL?
Yeah.
Okay.
RTL Productions. Yep. That has been, in the beginning when I started it, I created it to re-release music that I had
Oh,
recorded.
yeah.
So, and I did that. Everything that I had the rights to, I released it. It's like available everywhere. You can go on iTunes or Spotify or whatever, and you'll find it. And then I leased it out. Two of the bands got I got approached about having them released by companies, and then I leased those properties out to the companies for 5-year stints. So that's what that was created for. But then since I was acting, I decided, okay, well, I have a production company that I own. Let me go ahead and release something. So
Mhm.
I started working with another producer, and I found a director, and then I found a screenwriter who had written a comedy about a stand-up comic who goes to see a psychologist, and they kind of feed off of each other, and they take on each other's personalities to get a girl.
Okay.
What they don't know is that they're both trying to get the same girl.
Oh.
So all this kind of hilarity ensues, and I released that film through my company. To date, that's the only film that I've released solely through my company. The rest of my company, I've used it to I've been hired to do special effects makeup on films. I've been hired to do like add music to films, things like that, and that's what I use the company for.
Awesome. Awesome. And what are some horror films that you love watching? I mean, of course, we all know A Nightmare on Elm Street and
Yeah.
the Elm Street films. And what other horror films do you like?
Well, my dad actually got me into horror films.
Okay.
When I was young, my dad used to, I don't know if you'll remember Dr. Shock and things like that. This
Oh
used to
yeah,
be
yeah.
a host on TV in Philly,
Yeah.
but he would play all the black and white Universal horror films, and
Nice.
Creature from the Black Lagoon, and Dracula
Yes.
made a huge impact on me. I've always wanted to play Dracula, and I've been cast a few times as Dracula, but the movies didn't happen.
Oh.
Not yet anyway. So Frankenstein, I saw all of those. So that kind of got me interested in horror movies.
Oh,
Then as I
nice.
got older and I went to see horror movies, I think the first film I saw in a theater that was a horror film, my dad took me to see it, and I was 9 years old, and it was The Exorcist.
Oh my God, really?
My dad took me to see The Exorcist in the theater. We got right to the point where she's flopping on the bed.
Yes. Yeah.
And 9-year-old Roberto looked at his dad and said, "I want to go home," and that was it. But later I watched the film when I got older, and I'm kind of got hooked on it. But definitely The Exorcist, the Elm Street movies.
Mm-hmm.
More recently, I liked most of the Saw movies. The first few of them were
Okay,
really,
yeah.
really good. I love the Scream series, even Scream 3.
Scream's great.
Most people don't like Scream 3 because it's a little more comical. I
Yeah.
don't care. I love the way they wrapped up the series with Roman being Sidney's half brother. I thought that was
Yes.
great.
Yes.
I just saw the most recent Scream film.
That was
And
really good. I liked it.
it was really good. It fits nicely into the universe.
Mm-hmm.
Slightly disappointed because I was hoping the rumor of Stu Macher coming back and being the actual
No, I
killer.
was waiting for that.
Would happen, but
Yes,
it
I was
didn't.
waiting for that.
No spoilers. Won't say who did it. I know it's been out for a while, but I don't like to get spoilers out. So
yeah, exactly.
but yeah, I love all that stuff. I recently watched like the Insidious movies.
Oh yeah, those are
They're
creepy.
good. They're pretty good.
Yeah.
There's only a few horror films where I look at it and go, nah. And some of them are mainstream. And no offense to anybody who's a fan of the series, but I am not a Chucky fan.
Oh, okay.
When we were talking about doing The Nightmare Ends on Halloween 3 at one point, and one of my prerequisites for doing the movie was that I got to drop kick Chucky. I was just like, we got to get a hold of I know the director had a Chucky doll. I'm pretty sure he did. I was just like, I wanted that thing to come and go, I want to be friends to the end. And I wanted my Freddy to come up and drop kick the thing across the room. Didn't happen
then. And, what kind of songs do you like? Like the music, like what's on your playlist?
I grew up. I remember the last Beatles album coming out, so that's how old I am. I remember that. I am mostly a 70s and 80s rock guy.
Okay.
That is just what I was into. It's what I was raised with. And some 60s. I mean, I love the 60s stuff, and I even like some 50s stuff.
Okay.
And of course, I like some 90s stuff and so on. I don't hear a lot of bands coming out now that I don't really pay attention that much, but probably the 2000s and early 2010s is when I stopped really listening to like newer rock bands. I'm sorry to say, but and I was not a fan of grunge when it came out, but I've since come to like love Soundgarden.
Okay.
I like and Alice in Chains. Those are brilliant bands as far as I'm concerned. But yeah, I definitely Aerosmith, with me being a bass player. You know, anybody who had a great bass player in the band, I pretty much went through. I wasn't very into prog rock, but I like Yes. I like Rush. I don't love those bands. I peripherally really like them, but you know, amazing bass players in those bands. Always been a Kiss fan. I feel like Gene Simmons is a very underrated bass player.
Oh, definitely.
Queen, John Deacon's amazing. I don't know if you've heard of them. Mott the Hoople is a huge, great band. Beatles, Mick Taylor, period Stones.
Okay.
Great stuff. That's what I was into. Like that kind of like bluesy melodic rock and then bluesy melodic hard rock. I was not a thrash guy.
Okay.
like the very, very early Metallica stuff.
Yeah.
I can listen to some of it, but really for me, like I like their second album, but their first album, their third album, and their fourth album, I'm like, this is just not my thing. But once they got to that Black album, I was like, okay, that's got some groove to it. It's got some like punch to it, and it's still really heavy. Oh, Black Sabbath, Dio area.
Oh yeah. Okay.
I don't like the Ozzy stuff that much.
Really? Okay.
I am not an Ozzy fan.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, I think the band was great on the Ozzy albums, Black Sabbath albums, and I think that Ozzy's solo material, the band is awesome.
Yeah, exactly. They are
good. The songs are great in the Black Sabbath era too, but I don't like his voice. And I think he's got personal issues with paying people, him and his wife. So I don't care. I don't care for him as a person or his wife.
Okay. All right. Okay. Okay.
Nothing but the truth here, everyone. Sorry, Black Sabbath fans. I know that Ozzy's God to everybody, but I just don't.
Okay. You might be able to work something in the fan film where Freddy kills Ozzy.
That would be funny, wouldn't it?
I mean, Alice Cooper played Freddy's dad.
He did. I love Alice Cooper.
Yeah,
Alice
same.
Cooper's amazing. I've seen Alice Cooper live like 5-6 times.
Nice.
Love it.
Nice.
But that's not all I like. I mean, I like other kinds of music too. I'm like hugely into a lot of Latin music. I'm
Oh,
hugely
wow.
into a lot of dance music. I like classical music. I'm a musician. I pretty much like everything. I don't like limit myself to liking just one thing.
Okay, all right.
Give me a Disney soundtrack and I'll be happy.
And, is there anything coming up next or that you want to push or plug? Anything you're allowed to talk about that you want to push?
Sure. The other film that I'm going to be, other than Dreams Kill, which is, I've already said everything I can say about that.
Yeah.
But the other film that I'm in pre-production for is something called Rat Hill.
Oh,
which
nice.
is going to be about, how do I put this without giving all the spoilers away? It's about 3 boys who in high school who make a grim discovery. Let's put it that way.
Okay,
And I play their teacher.
Okay. It always happens with teenagers in high school that do something wrong.
This is something like that. But if I tell you too much more, it kind of spoils the movie. But that's a good description of it. There are these 3 kids that are friends. They wind up going someplace they shouldn't go, and mayhem ensues.
Okay, it sounds great. Like, I love all those slasher films. So yeah, I'll definitely say it.
I will send you copies when it comes out so you can see it.
Okay, cool.
It won't be for a while. It's still like both of these films are in early pre-production. So.
Well, yeah. Awesome. And where can fans find you at? Like, what's your pages?
You can find me almost everywhere. I don't use TikTok, but somehow when I got my new phone, I have a TikTok account. So I'm most easily findable on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. I do, like I said, I have a TikTok and I have a YouTube channel. So all you have to do is you Google me, you'll find me, because all of my social media pops up everywhere I am. So like if you go on my Facebook page, all of my other social media is like connected to it. So, and I pretty much accept all requests that I get up until a point where I'm getting close to like 5,000 people on Facebook. And then I'm going to have to not accept people because I won't be able to.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But I do have a fan page that you can go to too. So if you Google me, you'll find it.
All right, sweet.
Yeah.
Well, I definitely want to thank you for taking time out of your night and coming on the show. This has been really fun, and it's really good to meet another Philly guy.
Yes. Thank you very much for having me on. It's a great conversation. You asked me some questions that people don't usually ask me, which I like.
Oh, sweet. Okay. Nice. All right, buddy. Well, again, thank you, and have a good night and rest of the weekend.
Great. I'll be looking forward to seeing this when it comes out. Have a good one.
Definitely. It would definitely be out soon.
Awesome.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.
Everybody have a good night.